Hey everybody, this is Dave coming to you from the Gaming Cave. Today we're going to do another playthrough of Fast Action Racing, Open Wheels 1978. And we're ready for race number 5 of the season. And this is the Indianapolis 500. Alright, so this is the first 500-mile race of the season that I'm playing. Like I said, my first video when I ran at Phoenix, I'll just do a couple races on video of the season. This is also the biggest field we're gonna have. Most of the fields have been like between 20 and 24 so far. So this is the first 33 car field. Here's the drivers. I've already got them, the actual drivers that were in the race. So I've already got them pulled out here, and we're gonna go through. We're going to place everybody, and all right, here we go. We'll cut it once, and this is it. All right, we start with Johnny Rutherford. So we'll have Johnny Rutherford, John Cock, Jerry Sneva, Rick Mears, Mario Andretti, Spike Gelhausen, John Mailer, Tom Bagley, Tom Sneva, Roger McCluskey, Johnny Parsons, Cliff Huckle. Around this side, Steve Krisaloff, Dick Simon, Wally Dallenbach, AJ Foyt, Jerry Rice, Gary Bettenhausen. Now we start working up with the filling in the field. We now go on to slot 16 with Jerry Carl, 21 with Mike Mosley, 32 Salt Walther, 45 George Snyder, 54 Danny Ongais, and 63 Joe Saldana. All right, now we go 14 with Bobby Unser, 25 with Phil Threshy, 36 Jim McElreath, 45. Oh, look at there. They've got 45 twice on here. How about that? That's an error in this. It must have meant 43. Pancho Carter. Oh, they did it again. 54 and 63. That's interesting. So the next two are 52 and 65. So that must be 61. So what would have been here? 52, 56. Bigelow in 56. Janet Guthrie in 61. Right there. Then we have Sheldon Kinzer. Wow, this is another one, 14, so it has to be 12. I'm going to have to fix this. Larry Dixon in 23. And Al Unser in 34. All right. So you can see there's 36 spots and there's 3 empties right there. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to go through and correct their sheet here. It's incorrect. All right, that's the first time I've had the field this big, so it's important that I do that later on. Okay, hey, there's the field, and we're ready to get started. First thing we're going to do is roll for the pole position. And the pole position is a 33. So 33, I'm looking for the number 33 on the card. 11 to 26, 31 to 32, 41, 61, 35, 36, 33, 34, Johnny Rutherford. And so you guys can see it, it's that numbers right there. So Johnny Rutherford, he gets the pole. We'll write him on here, Rutherford. Again, you'll have to excuse the time it takes me to do some of the paperwork. And the qualifying speed on the track is 193, and we add to that Rutherford's speed of 7.971, so 193 and 7 makes it 200.971. That's the qualifying, that's the pole position speed of the race. All right. Okay, we're off and running. The greatest spectacle on earth, the Indianapolis 500, has taken the green flag. And here comes the first challenge, and it is 45. 41, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is George Snyder. Snyder's making a challenge for the lead on the first lap. All right. He's a 5. Rutherford's a 10. So that difference is -5, which means he automatically fails the attempt. And Rutherford leads the first lap. So Rutherford leads the field around, and off we go. Okay, now we're going to check to see who's going to have mechanical problems. And it is 55. 55, oh, Dallenbach. So he's the centerpiece here. So Wally Dallenbach. He's a 7, and one thing we check here is mechanicals. We go +1. So +1 to that rating makes that an 8 for Dallenbach. The car above him is Bigelow. Bigelow's rating is a 5, makes that a 6. The car to the right is empty, so it becomes Jerry Sneva. So Jerry Sneva. He is a 3, which makes him a 4. Car below him is Danny Ongaias. Ongaias is a 5, makes him a 6. And the car to the left is George Snyder. And Snyder is a 5, makes him a 6. Okay. Now, for the mechanicals, you want to be lower than your rating. If you're equal to, you get a minor problem. And if it's above it, you get a major on your lap issues here. So here we go. So we start with Dallenbach. He's an 8. He gets, a 12. Dallenbach, right out of the gate. So he failed. And we're going to roll to see what his mechanical issue was, but he's going to get lapped with this red marker, which is going to take him out of contention. He's had a major problem, and he had to go behind the wall. So Wally Dallenbach is not going to win this race. And the problem was a 4. He had a problem with his brakes. Okay, he failed brakes. He's several laps down. Okay, the next guy up, Bigelow. He needs a 6. He needs less. He gets a 3. He passes. Well, he's good. Next guy is Jerry Sneva. He's a 4. He gets a 4. Okay, he fails, but he only goes down on the green lap right there, and his issue was a 10. He was overheating, so they had to bring him in for a little cooling problem. Okay, Danny Ongaias. He's a 6. He gets 6. He has a problem. 6. He fails. He's going to be a lap down. He's one of the top cars. Another one right there. He has his issue, and it is, whoops, it's got to go through the tower. It is a 10, and a 10 for him is overheating. So we had 2 cars overheating, and one with a major problem with the brakes. And now comes George Snyder. He's a 6 and he gets a 4. He passes. So no problem for George. Rutherford's still leading the race. Okay, so just to give you a quick look, there's the sheet. Dallenbach failed, brake problem. Bigelow, no problem. Jerry Sneva, Danny Ongaius both failed for overheating. And George Snyder, no problem. Okay, it's time for our next challenge. And got to get it in the dice tower. Come on, here we go. It is 44. 44. 2, 3, 4. Johnny Parsons. Parsons is going to make a challenge against Rutherford. Parsons is a 6. Rutherford's a 10. So he's a -4. And so his target is going to be 11 to 12 that he has to roll. And he's going to roll a 6. He fails. Rutherford's still in the lead. Okay. So just so you see again, the difference between their ratings was a -4. That made him an 11 to 12. He did not get it. Okay. Now we're going to do green flag challenges here. So let's see who this is going to be. It is 21. 21 is Mike Mosley. Now, that's fine. Rutherford can't challenge himself, so we just pass by him. But Mosley is going to be the first challenger. Then Rick Mears. To his right is Mailer. Below Mosley, we come up here, it's Gelhausen. And because Rutherford can't do it, we keep going, and it is Janet Guthrie. The only woman to race in the Indy 500 back in 1978, and the only woman racing in IndyCar, in fact, during then. Okay, so Mosley is a 6, and Rutherford's a 10. He's a -4. Which makes it 11 to 12. Here we go. He gets 9. Ooh, that's a pretty good roll. But he fails. Rutherford continues to lead. Okay. Next guy, Rick Mears. Now he's an 11. So he's a +1. So he needs a 6 to 12 to pass. So here's Rick Mears' chance. Rick Mears gets an 8. He passes. So there's the pass. Mears is the new leader. Okay. Next up, Mailer. He's a 2 on to 11. He's a -9. So that's an automatic fail. And he's lapped. So during the race, Mears lapped Mailer. We'll get a lap marker right here. Put that on Mailer's car. He's lapped. Okay. Gelhausen. He's a 2. He's a -9. Same thing. Failed. Lapped. Mears still leads. And Gelhausen takes a lap to marker. All right. And last, Janet Guthrie, she's actually a 9. So she's a -2. And a -2 is 9 to 12. So a 9 to 12, she could actually take the lead from Rick Mears. She gets a 10. Janet Guthrie leads the Indy 500. How about that? Okay, Janet Guthrie's the leader now. Okay, now we got to do green flag pit stops. This is on 45. 2, 3, 4, 5. George Snyder is going to lead this group. So Snyder. Followed by, let's see, George Snyder up above him, Huckel. To his right, Dallenbach. So he cannot challenge, so we would go to the next one. Sneeve is lapped, he can't challenge, it becomes Threshy. Because we keep moving till we find somebody. Okay, below him is Parsons. And to his left is Tom Sneeve. Now, these are the drivers that are going to roll against Janet Guthrie. Her pit number, it's the blue number, is 10. So her number's 10. George Snyder's a 9. He's a -1. So that makes him 8 to 12. Well, here we go. Oops. Oh. George Snyder, 8 to 12 is what he needs. 5. He fails. And Guthrie continues to lead. Next is Huckel. He's a 9. She's a 10. That's a -1. 8 to 12. So Cliff Huckel's trying to beat her out of the pits. He gets a 4. He fails. It's still Guthrie. Next up is Threshy. He's a 3. She's a 10. He's a -7. Well, that's a big fail. He gets lapped. We had a bad pit stop and he lost a lap. Okay, so we'll put a lap marker on Phil. He's lapped now. Okay, Parsons. Johnny Parsons is an 8, so he's a -2. So that's 9 to 12. See if he can get around Guthrie. He gets a 9. He does it. A 9. He passes. Parsons is the new leader. All right, Tom Sneeve. Tom Sneeve is a 9. Parsons is an 8, so he's a +1. Makes him 6 to 12. Tom Sneeve's got a chance. 7. He does it. So Tom Sneeve passes, and he is the new leader. Okay, next thing we got to check for are penalties. So somebody had penalties in the pits, and it is 16. Jerry Carl. So Carl, the guy above him, because there's nobody above him, is Rutherford. Okay, then we go to the guy to the right. We skip Gelhausen, becomes McElreath. Now I'm going to check that. Hang on just a minute. Yeah, that was right. You can't challenge, and these are challenges here. So, okay, so we did Carl. Rutherford was above him. To the right was McElreath. Below him, we skip one, is Bobby Unser. And to his left, go over, it's Bettenhausen. Okay, and all these guys' ratings, Carl's a 7. Rutherford is a 9. Sorry. McElreath, he's a 9. Bobby Unser is a 7. And Bettenhausen is a 6. And for this, equal to or less than the pit crew rating. Okay, so Jerry Carl, he's a 7. If it's 7 or less, he's okay. He gets a 7. Whew, he passed. That's a pass. Rutherford, he's a 9. He gets a 9. He passes. McElreath, he's a 9. He gets a 7. He passes. Bobby Unser, he gets a 6 against a 7. He passes. And Bettenhausen, he's a 6. He gets a 9. He fails. Tom Sneva continues to lead. Bettenhausen goes a lap down. Okay, so he's the next car that got lapped. So a bad pit stop for him. And we can actually check that and see what happened to him. A 5. He got black flagged. So he had to come in and do a stop and go. Okay, now we're going to have a challenge. Here we go. This is the challenge. Against Tom Sneva, this is 16. Jerry Carl. Well, I can tell you that ain't going to work out too good. Carl, he's a 2. Tom Sneva, he's a 10. That's a -8. That's an automatic fail. And he gets lapped. And Tom Sneva continues to lead the race. So another lapped for Jerry Carl. Okay. We're going to have another challenge. 66. Can't be him. He's lapped. We have to roll again. 35. 31, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tom Sneva. Can't challenge himself. We'll get it. 11. Johnny Rutherford's going to challenge him. Here we go. Rutherford's after him now. He wants back in the lead. Okay, Rutherford's a 10. Sneva's a 10. That's 0. So it is 7 to 12. Here comes the roll for the challenge. And it is 7. Rutherford takes the lead back. Johnny Rutherford. Okay. So you can see we're moving along. Rutherford led, then Mears, then Guthrie, Parsons, Sneva, and now back to Rutherford. Now we're getting ready to go into the contact phase to see if there's any accident here. It is 65. There is nobody there. So we do the next highest going around. So this would be Guthrie. She's a 2 to the right. He's lapped. It would go all the way to Sneva. He's a 7. 2 to the bottom and 2 to the left. Sneva would be the top guy. So he's the guy we're going to check with, and then we'll work off of him. Tom Sneva. Okay. And for contact, it's a -1. So Sneva 7 becomes a 6. All right. Above Sneva is McElreath. McElreath is a 2, makes him a 1. Okay, below to the right is Snyder. He's a 2, makes him a 1. Below Sneva is Al Unser. He's a 5, which makes him a 4. And to the left is Sneva. Okay, this is where we get into problems sometimes because there's nobody to the left of him that hasn't been lapped. You know what? Hang on a minute. I got to check something because this is for contact. I may have just done this wrong. Hang on. I did that wrong. Accidents can still happen to the wrecked cars. So we're at the blank. We're looking for the highest accident. He's a 2 to the right. Sneva's a 2. He's a 2. He's a 2. So that means Bettenhausen's the guy we start with. This is going to be messy over here, I'm afraid. Bettenhausen. And he'll be a 1. The car above him is Guthrie. She's a 1. The car to the right is Carl. He's a 1. The card below is Larry Rice. He's a 1. And the card to the left is Bigelow. He's a 1. So I don't even need to roll for these guys because they're all going to fail, because you can't roll 2 dice. It's going to be a 2. So they're all going to fail. So this is where the big wreck happened. Okay, so I'm checking. If his accident rating is lower than the die roll, and every one of them will be because they're all a 1, it's terminal, they're out. Okay, so Bettenhausen, he fails. Wreck. So Bettenhausen comes out. His be the last place card. He's the first guy out. Okay. Next one is Guthrie. Failed. She got caught in the wreck. So we take Janet Guthrie out. Off the board now. All right. Carl. Fail. This is the first time I've had everybody that was going to be in that, be at that point there where every one of them is going to automatically wreck. Fail for Rice. Wreck. So Larry Rice right here, he's out. And the last one is Tom Bigelow. Wreck. Rutherford's still in the lead. Bigelow, where's he at? Right here. That's too bad. He was a good car. So was Larry Rice, actually. There you go. Okay, well, it cleaned out a piece of the field right there. So now we're going to have pit stops under caution. These go, you have the race leader, who is Rutherford, and the adjacent cars, and 1 random. So they're going to check themselves against Rutherford. So we have Kinzer. Then we have Mosley. Bottom would be Bobby Unser. Because challenges, you don't use the lap cars. That was to the bottom. And to the left is Krisaloff. And then we have 1 random, which is 53. 253, Dick Simon. Okay, so here we go. So we start with Kinzer. His pit number is 8. Rutherford is a 9, so he's a -1. Makes him 8 to 12. Here we go. 8 to 12 is a 6. He fails. Next up, Mosley. He's a 10, Rutherford's a 9, so he's a +1. So he's a 6 to 12. 6 to 12, I wrote 10. All right, he gets 8. He passed him. So Mosley gets the pass so far. Next up, Bobby Unser. So Mosley's a 10. Bobby Unser's a 7, so he's a -3. 10 to 12. So Bobby Unser. Oh, he got an 8. He failed. And now we have Krisaloff. He's a 9 against Mosley, who's a 10. He's a -1. That makes him 8 to 12. Krisaloff gets a 3. He failed. All right, and the last guy is Dick Simon. He's a 7. Mosley's a 10. He's a -3. It's going to be 10 to 12 for Dick Simon. 6. He did not get it. He failed. And our new leader is Mosley. Mike Mosley is now leading the Indianapolis 500, and he's going to take on a challenge. Here we go. The challenge is 33. 1, 2, 3. Tom Bagley is going to challenge Mosley. Mosley is a 6, and Bagley's a 6. So it's a 7 to 12. It's a 50-50 chance. Comes Tom Bagley. Does he do it? He gets a 9. He does. He passes. Tom Bagley is the new leader. All right. Now we go into race specifics. We're getting to the closing lap actions. We're getting late in the race. So we start with mechanical, 9 to 12. So 9 to 12. We roll to see if we're going to have any mechanical issue, and this is to the leader. He gets 8. No. So we don't have to worry about that. Bagley's still leading. Next is a challenge. So here we go, a late race challenge to the leader. It is 45. 4-5 is George Snyder. So Snyder making a challenge. Snyder's a 5. Bagley's a 6. So he's a -1. It's 8 to 12 for George Snyder. Can he do it? George Snyder gets a 6. He cannot. He fails. Bagley's still leading. Okay, contact. Contact is 9 to 12. So we got to roll to see if there's any contact. 4, no contact. Okay, so what happens there is we skip this whole section and we come down to the next challenge because there's no contact, so there's no pit stop under caution. So there is no caution. Bagley continues to lead. And now we can do our next challenge. And the next driver to challenge is going to be 43. 1, 2, 3. Pancho Carter. Pancho Carter against Bagley. Pancho is a 6. Bagley's a 6. That makes him a 0. Hang on, my pencil just ran out of pencil lead. But never fear, I have a backup. Okay, Carter, it's going to be a 7 to 12 against Bagley. Can Pancho Carter take the lead? It is a 4. He cannot. Bagley continues to lead. Okay, now we check for pit crew, and we check the pit crew is 8 to 12. Okay, see if there's another pit stop that we're going to have action on. 8. We do. Okay. It is adjacent cars to the race leader plus 1 random. Okay, race leader is Tom Bagley. First guy in, Al Unser. To the right of Bagley, Pancho Carter. Below Bagley, Salt Walther. To the left of Bagley, Larry Dixon. And 1 random. It is 41. So pit stop number be the highest. He's a 4, 9. Below him's a 9 and an 8. So it would be, actually we would skip him. It would be Mosley at 10. So Mike Mosley. Okay, here we go. So we're comparing pit crew numbers. So the leader is Bagley with a 6, and the first guy up is Al Unser with a 9. Unser is a +3, and a +3 is 4 to 12. 4 to 12 to take the lead for Al Unser. 2. He does not do it. He failed that. Next guy is Pancho Carter. Carter's a 9. He's a +3. 4 to 12. Here we go, Pancho Carter. He got a 4. He just barely nosed him out. Pancho's temporarily in the lead, so now we do Salt Walther against Pancho Carter. Carter's a 9, Walther's a 7. He's a -2. That'll make him 9 to 12. And he gets a 7. He fails. All right, Larry Dixon. Larry Dixon, where's he at? Here he is. He's a 10. And Carter's a 9. That makes him +1. 6 to 12 for Dixon. He gets a 9. Larry Dixon takes the lead. Coming out of the pits. And now Mike Mosley. He's a 10. Dixon's a 10. That makes them even. 7 to 12. It is 7. Mike Mosley is the leader. Okay, Mike Mosley's the new leader. Drop my pencil. Okay. Now we check for green flag racing. This is 6 to 12. 6 to 12. It's 12. Okay, we use adjacent cars to the race leader. Mosley's the race leader. Above him, Rick Mears. +1 random. Okay, to the right is going to be Krisaloff. Below him comes all the way down to Mario Andretti. To the left, Rutherford, and this is going to be, you got some big guys coming in here for the finish now. And 1 random is 42, Roger McCluskey. Here we go. We start with Mears. Mears is an 11. Mosley's a 6. That's a +5, which makes it automatic. Mears just took him. He's the new leader. Okay. Next is Krisaloff. Krisaloff is a 10. Mears is an 11. So he'll be -1. Makes him an 8 to 12. See if Mears can hold him off. He gets a 5. Cannot pass him. Mears holds him off. Now we have Andretti. Andretti is a 6. Mears is an 11. That's a 5. -5. That's a fail. Next is Rutherford. He's a 10. To Mears, that's -1. Makes him 8 to 12. 4. He does not get him. He failed. And we have McCluskey. McCluskey is a 2. So he's -9. That's a fail. And he's lapped. He gets lapped at the very end of the race. For McCluskey. Mears is the leader. And now we have the final challenge. The highest rated driver adjacent here. Dixon's an 8. Walther's a 5. Mosley's a 6. Kinser's a 4. So Larry Dixon's going to challenge him. Larry Dixon, he's a -3. Makes him 8, 9, 10 to 12. 10 to 12. He gets 8. Wow. He failed. Rick Mears wins the Indy 500. Woo! All right. Wow. Okay. We'll take our red die, Rick Mears, right here. We'll mark that because he's the winner. The guy that comes in second is Dixon because he challenged him. Okay. The next guys or anybody, any other challengers that could have challenged him. So we have Walther, Kinzer, and Mosley. So it would go Mosley, then Kinzer. Come on. Come on. And then, or Walther and then Kinzer. Okay, based on their ratings. Now we work. We start at 6 o'clock, but in this track here, so now we're going around this way looking for the highest rated guy. I can tell you the 10 on this inside track. So Tom Sneva, he gets this next spot. Come on, there we go. Tom Sneva. Then you dial them back, all they're lapped. 4, 2. Okay, so we come around. Andretti's a 6. Mario, he finished really well. He's a 6. Snyder's a 5. He's the last guy in that section. Okay. Now we come up here at the 12 o'clock position. You're going to have Al Unser. These guys are all 6s, so it'll be Parsons, Carter, Tom Bagley. Now we go to the outside, starting here. We got a 6, we got a 9, got a 10, another 10, another 10. So we go to the 10s. So it'll be Krisaloff, Rutherford, and then John Cock. Now we come around, we have the 9, AJ Foyt. We got a 6 here, got a 6, 6. So it goes with McElreath, Joe Saldana, Bobby Unser. All right. Then we have a 4, Cliff Huckle. And then we have a 2. Nope, he's lapped. Okay. Oh, I missed Dick Simon in this bunch. Oh, crap. I got to find where he goes. He was before Kinzer, Sneva, Andretti, Snyder, Al Unser. We had Ponce. We had Parsons, Carter, Bagley. They were all in the middle here. So Simon was a 4. He would have been here after Al Unser. Okay, there we go. All right, now we do lap cars, starting with where the race winner was. He's a 2, the green first, a 9. So we get Danny Ongaias. He comes off first. Come on. Hard to get these cards sometimes. Danny Ongaias. Then we have a 2. We start here, so it becomes Phil Threshy. Comes off. And then Roger McCluskey. And then there's nobody in the top zone, so we drop out here. We go to the 12 o'clock. He's a 2, a 2, and a 2. So it goes Spike Gelhausen, John Mailer, Jerry Sneva, Wally Dallenbach. He finally gets off the board, and then the rest of the cars that wrecked. All right. Well, now we'll go to the spreadsheet. I'll get that all set up, and then we'll finish this up. Okay, here we are at the end of the race. This is our spreadsheet. This is race 5, Indianapolis. And the top 10 finishers were Rick Mears, Larry Dixon was 2nd, Mosley 3rd, Salt Walther 4th, Sheldon Kinzer 5th, Tom Sneva 6th, Mario Andretti 7th, George Snyder 8th, Al Unser 9th, and Dick Simon 10th. We had 9 lead changes with 7 different drivers. Car 7, Rick Mears led the most laps. There were 8 cautions for 31 laps.
The winner's average speed was 146.579. Johnny Rutherford sat on the pole at 200.971 miles per hour. All right, so that's the sum of the race. And then our season total. Right now, Tom Sneva is still leading the points over here at 1,385. What's funny is he's raced in all 5 races. Rick Mears has raced in 2 races. That's what the importance of these 500-mile races are. He got 1,000 points. He's raced in 2 races and won 2 races. I can tell you on the first race in Phoenix, he won it on the last lap. This one, he won it, on the last challenge. This one, he got on the second, next to last challenge. So Mears slips in there and pulls him up to 1,300 points. And Larry Dixon, who earned 800, not having a stellar year, but he comes into the 500-mile race and scores really well, moves himself up to 3rd in the point. Okay, so pretty interesting. The season's starting to unfold a little bit. I'm going to keep going here. I'll give you another update race somewhere down the line here. We'll see how we do. This is exciting. For a lot of people, this game's, there's not a lot of strategy. You shuffle the cards, you lay them on, they go random, and it's die rolling, but that's the game, right? And quite honestly, sometimes it's games like these that can be really fun, because when you play some of the games where you got to really concentrate and the rules are really complex, sometimes it's really nice to have a game there's not a ton of rules and it's not hard to play, and you can just let yourself get immersed in the race. And for me, I see these guys on the track. Like I said before, I was big into IndyCar back in this period. That's why I chose this season, and things are shaking out really well. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll do another one before the season's over, or maybe 2, just kind of update races as we go along, and see when we get to the season finale who's going to win the whole thing. It's back to Phoenix again. Can we match up what happened before? I don't know. We'll find out. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next one.